Hi, I'm Stephen McCall from Noise Engineering, and I'm talking to Analog Zone today about my new modules coming out in 2015. Okay, the first new module we're putting out this year is the Numeric Repetitive. It's the nerdy cousin to the module we put out last year called the Zularic Repetitive. It's very similar to the Zularic Repetitive in that it produces 4 rhythm outs, though the technique of generation of the rhythms is completely different. It essentially treats rhythms as binary numbers and then multiplies them by other numbers, and that produces other rhythms. The easiest way is just to turn the knobs, though. So I'm just gonna manipulate them a little. The module's super playable. It's instant fun. You hook it up and you got great rhythms. It has 32 built-in bass rhythms. This is, of course, a very common but simple rhythm, but there's a little more funky stuff going on in it. The variation works similarly for the other rhythms. I'll give you a bit of a taste there. This should actually be available for retail in about a month. Okay, so the next module I'm going to show you is called the Variadic Eruption. It's a burst generator. The concept is quite simple. You hit it with a gate and it produces a burst of gates. You can control how many different gates are in the burst that's generated. There's also a gate out on the end of sequence, so I'll have that play a different sound. There's a built-in LFO. It's actually 1 volt per octave, so you can do things, actually tune the burst. You can also use any external oscillator to clock the bursts. There are 2 independent burst generation sections, so you can have 2 different burst settings, though they share the same clock. There's also just a pattern knob which allows you to control the rhythm, just so you can get a little variation in case you don't want a pure burst. All of this, of course, is CV-able. I'm just using the buttons because it's a little easier to demo. There's one other little feature. You can actually turn the burst off, so you can hit it and choke it. That should be available probably by May. Back. Okay, the third module I'm going to show you is another rhythm module. It's called the Mimetic Sequence. It's pretty simple. You get to control 5 gates across 16 beats. The knob controls the position and time. So I can just place the beats where I want them to go. The 5th beat is only the first beat is selectable, since you usually have a downbeat or some reference point in time. It will have an expander that will separate the gate outs, as well as allowing you to CV control the knobs. So all of this is being driven by a master clock, which is coming out next year as well, which is up here. It's quite simple. It's meant to be a very small form factor master clock plus built-in dividers. So it has another 1 volt per octave clock, 3 switchable speed ranges. They're exactly multiples of 2 for cool tempo change effects. The knob controls the tempo. You can also CV the tempo, and then there are 5 built-in divide by 2s. If you put a second Horologic Solem, which I realized I forgot to mention the name of it, next to the parent Horologic Solem and connect them with a jumper in the rear, the child becomes a multifunction divider. So the top mode is odd mode, and so the child is giving you divide by 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 from the master clock. The middle mode it mirrors the parent, gives you additional divide, or the same divide by 2s, but the knob then adds additional divide by 2s. And then the bottom mode essentially adds the divide by 2s as if they were directly connected or in the parent module, just more divide by 2s, and then the knob gives you additional divide by 2s. And in this mode you can get up to divide by 16,000 very large divisions. Okay, we're going to go over here and talk about the Loquelic Ichiritas. This is a VCO that's coming out probably summer of this year. It's a it's like a digital oscillator. It has 3 different algorithms in it. This is not working. Great. Hold on a sec. Technical difficulties. It's the first time I've turned it on today. Ah, right. Power cycle. Gotta reset this LFO, 1 second. There we go. Okay, so look well Eruption. Right now I'm driving it with 3 different LFOs. There are 4 different tone parameters and then 2 different independent pitch inputs. So the first mode is based off of an algorithm called VOSIM, which was developed in the 70s to simulate voice. It's not the greatest at that, but it makes a lot of very vocally kind of tones. You can make a lot of very throaty, nasty, gritty tones with it. I'll just drive these around a little, give you an idea of what it can do. Okay, the second mode is based off of Summation synthesis, which is another algorithm originally published in the 70s. It's another just digital-only, interesting algorithm. Has a lot of character, a lot of texture. I'll once again just drive this around and let you listen to it. The final mode is a phase modulation. This is another old algorithm, but has lots of cool character. So that should give you an idea of the timbre space of this module. Next year I'm also going to be releasing a second VCO called the Sync Iter. This is a 4 HP 23 octave range VCO, obviously meant for LFO use as well as audio use. The high end is about 40 kilohertz and it goes down to some hundredths of a hertz. It has continuously selectable waveform, sine, tri, square, saw. Once you hit the spectrum knob to the middle, it goes back to the sine waveform, but then starts wave folding it, so you can get all the basic sine wave folding timbres as well. It's bipolar and unipolar coupled for the use as LFO. It also has a built-in 12-note equal tempered quantizer. It has sync inputs for LFO sync or sync modulation, phase modulation input, and voltage control over the spectrum control. It also has 2 different noise modes. The first one is, well, they're both digital. The first one is has a lot of character. It's not a very pure noise, but it's a very interesting noise. The spectrum knob controls essentially the bandwidth of the noise up to halfway, and just like with the wave, past halfway it turns it into a wave folder, so you get the extra crispy timbres. The second noise mode has a little less character, and it's a little bit more of a white kind of noise, a little fewer artifacts. Spectrum control works exactly the same as with the other noise mode. It's, as I mentioned, 4 HP. It's going to be 1.5 inches deep, so it should be entirely skippable as well. Okay, for the last module I'm going to talk about is the Mimetic Sequence. Let me actually get a rhythm going, and let me patch. Okay, so I have the Mimetic Sequence running into the pitch input of one of the Bacillus Iteratas. The Mimetic Sequence is it's a 3-pattern, 16-step CV recorder and randomizer with a built-in quantizer. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm going to kind of go through some of the features. So right now, it's playing a 4-step pattern. As I turn this knob, it will randomize the pattern. The angle of the randomized knob affects both the probability that it's going to randomize the current note and also the method of randomization. It will randomize. On the left side, it will prefer randomizations with octave offsets and fifth offsets, and then on the farther right, it is just a straight-up complete random number. So there are 3 patterns, so you can just switch between them, and with the toggle switch. So it's great for live use. You can swap between patterns. If you have a pattern you like, you can hit the duplicate button. It copies it to the other 2 patterns, so then you can go to them, use the randomized, make a variation of it. Okay, there's also a CV recorder, so you can just turn the record on, and it will record the CV that you input into it. The randomized knob then works with it. You can of course copy ones you've recorded too, and randomize those. There's also a built-in 12-track quantizer for the CV out. You can turn it on or off. The Mimetic Sequence also will be coming with an expander called the Mimetic Multi. It gives you the 3 CV patterns out at all times, so if you want to use your own switching, you can. And then it also has 4 gate outs, which are gate outs that are randomized. Oops, I just unplugged the wrong one. They're randomized like the CVs are. So when you change the randomized knob, it will also change the rhythms. And I believe that is the end of the tour. Thank you for watching.